everyone. Thanks for checking out the Indy Handshake Wrestling Podcast. My name is Paul Ponte. I am joined today by the pissed off nerdy gamer, a.k.a. P.O.N.G, a.k.a. Chance Calloway, if you're holding on to what's golden.
That's right. Jesus. First entrance music. Good Christ.
Yeah. When I was pulling footage for Dave Dutra's episode, there was your old entrance video on YouTube.
Oh, good Christ. That still exists?
Oh, yeah.
Fucking
all,
Nick,
all your wonderful
WFW
footage and all that. So
that's a word. Wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
How are we doing today? How are we handling the this never-ending COVID fun?
Embarrassingly unaffected. I mean, I'm a crippling introvert hermit anyways. So as I like to say, I've been kind of social distancing and preparing for this scenario since 1982. So I've been pretty good, and I've been fortunate with work and stuff. So yeah, it's at least for me, it hasn't been too much of an issue, thankfully. So aside from the closure of wrestling and all that stuff.
Yeah, that is the big bummer. Unless you live in other states where apparently they're just like, we'll just have wrestling anyway.
That's going on, yeah.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and let's go back to the beginning. I like to go back. I mentioned, of course, the WFW and all that stuff already, but let's before we get into that, I'm curious about how you found out about the world of independent wrestling. We all watch, the WWF at the time, WCW, whatever it was at the time, and then eventually you learn about these magical world of independent wrestling. So how did that come about for you?
In a couple weird avenues. So I had a couple weird things growing up. So my family is all from England. I was born in England. We came over here early. So from a little age, anytime I would go back overseas or visit family, there'd be World of Sport on. So I had that early access to it, although they didn't really click at that time. World of Sport is very technical and kind of exhibition based. So that was kind of interesting. And then my dad would also, for work, would travel to Japan all the time. And every time he went to Japan, which was twice a year, he would always come back with some god-awful shit. And at that time, like in the early 80s, that was like the place, right? There was so much stuff over there that we weren't even exposed to. So through that, he brought back, all sorts of the import wrestling games, because he would just grab whatever he could get over there and bring it over for me. So like I had early exposure to Japanese promotions and stuff like that. So I knew that there was worlds beyond like the grip that WWF had. And then independent, like specifically like local independence wise, I think my story lines up with 80% of everyone on here, which was Beyond the Mat kind of cracked everything open, especially since the APW part of it was kind of in everyone's backyard in this area. So it was even more kind of notorious and on the radar. So I remember seeing that and thinking that was pretty cool. And it got me to, those were the days where the websites were so fucking archaic. So I would do whatever web searches I could. I found, Vinny's first old website that he had, and stuff like that. And I would just go down these rabbit holes for what little a rabbit hole you could do for the internets at that time.
Yeah. I remember a long time ago, we had like an old Mac and I was on like the WCW website. And I remember I so badly wanted to download the NWO theme song. And and I remember it took me like an hour and a half to download because this is all on dial-up.
Yep.
And for some reason, it downloaded in such a way, which to this day, and I'm pretty savvy with computers nowadays, but I still don't understand how this worked. I downloaded the file. It was a WAV file. It was on my desktop, and it would only play when I was online.
Wow.
It doesn't make any logical sense. To this day, I'm like, how?
That's one way around copyright law, whatever the fuck they do, the domain checks.
But I'd sit there and I'd listen to that NWO theme song.
Or it would be like
repeat.
You would spend hours downloading a song, and then just because of the shitty download transfer rate, you get the fucking skips. Or like it would cut off the last few and you're like, fuck it, I'll just roll with it. Yes.
Those pops.
Fucking WAV files, dude.
Or people don't know. These kids don't know. You know, you'd be trying to download like The Sims on Napster or LimeWire or something, or Kazaa.
Yeah.
And it used to be that you couldn't resume files. So if the other person quit who you were downloading it from, that file's just screwed. You're done. You have to start all over again. And yeah, that's
and your computer would get cancer from LimeWire Napster.
Oh, yeah.
So that was always fun. Who cares?
But so what made you decide, okay, I like what I'm seeing, but now I actually want to do it?
It was always in my mind. So with the 80s and the huge WWF boom that everyone my age was embroiled in pretty much. I was really drawn to the theatrical aspect of wrestling. Even as a kid, like I knew that there was something off about it. I didn't buy like fully into it, like this is real combat. Like I knew there was something theatrical, something performative about it. So I always thought that was pretty neat. My dad, put me into theater camps when I was really young as a way. So and this will play into just my overall demeanor and the way I am in wrestling. But so I have Asperger's. So it makes, as a kid, I was socially, I was just not there. So my dad, being the engineer that he is, figured I'm going to put my son into theater classes. He's going to be around more kids. He'll learn about, emotions and what it is to emote. And that's going to help with Asperger's, so he can pick up on social cues and stuff like that. So he'll have fun while trying to learn to navigate and kind of, mirror emotions. So I was already inclined to theater. I thought wrestling was super cool. And it was kind of the combination to me. I always saw it, and I still do. I see wrestling as the ultimate, like the highest possible form of performing art. Like, yeah, movies and stage is great, but wrestling is emerging of so many different aspects that, like, the people that are really good at it, obviously I'm not one of them, but the people that are the masters of the business and that have gone places, like, that's why The Rock, in particular, they make good movie stars most of the time, because you're using a little bit of everything. So I would watch that growing up. I really gravitated towards like the goofy characters. I did a character class at Stoner U, and I'd go through this thing where I was very particular. Like, Hulk Hogan was great. I liked Owen Hart, but I really gravitated towards like fucking Skinner for some god awful reason, and Repo Man. Like fucking the like super weird, like Max Moon fucking blew my mind the fucking 2 times he was around. Poor goddamn Conan and Mike Diamond. But that whole, like, the characters is what drew me in. So I guess, like, Vince McMahon, I'm a mark for what Vince McMahon was trying to do at that point, to kind of lean into that aspect of it. So I always saw it and thought that would be great to do. Like, that would be fun. I didn't see it, unfortunately, for me later on, I didn't see it as that sport aspect of it. I always saw it as a form of performance art, some type of expression. I was really into it. And then early 90s was difficult through all forms. I distinctly remember watching Halloween Havoc 91. I think it was 91, with the chair, where Abdullah got fried in the chair.
Oh yeah.
They had the electric chair match, right? So I remember watching that pay-per-view and being like, like, I'm all for the razzle dazzle. Like, that's a bit crazy. And I started petering off in interest, and then of course the Attitude Era started. Everyone at high schools is talking about it more, so I check it out. And then I got right back into it via the cruiserweights, and I was like, okay, I think I want to go do this. And in senior year of high school, I sent a application to UPW, trying to get in there. And of course, APW kind of started my somewhat of a saga with them. I went over there, I think in 99, might have been 2000 though. And Donovan Morgan was there, eating a can of tuna, like straight out of a can with a fork. And it was, that was the first thing I saw when I walked through the fucking door at the garage in Hayward, was Donovan Morgan sitting in that little lobby, which was the green room, eating a can of tuna, looking at me like, what the fuck are you? Cause I don't belong in wrestling. I mean, my body type was never, it's easy to look down on. So he gave me, and it was the very first time of interaction with any wrestler personally. And he completely gave me the Donovan Morgan special, the Indy Handshake. And I thought, what the fuck is this? I was like, does he have arthritis? Like, that's fucking cold, dude. You have a pinched nerve or something, brother? So, so that was interesting. And then right behind him was Vinny. And I went from there. I ended up signing up with APW after that, the prepay. So the next beginner class wasn't happening for another year or so. So I think I paid 6 months into it, basically prepaid.
Yeah. When I was first doing the website for Big Time Wrestling, I remember going to see Jason Styles training people at like whatever like little garage area that they had for their training. And I remember just like distinctly, it's burned in my memory, is Jason Styles half out the roll up door, and he's smoking a cigarette, and he's just like, you guys got to work on your fucking cardio. I just remember.
Welcome to wrestling.
Yeah, I was like, that's like burned in my brain. I was like, okay, there's something crazy about wrestling. Like that's what I started getting like the idea. Okay, this attracts a very specific, like weird person.
Yeah.
Into the business. Yeah. But yeah.
All sorts, man.
Yeah. So it's really funny because then the first time I ever met you was at the WFW thing that we were talking about. We mentioned it in the Dave Dutra episode. It was basically like a backyard fed, but in the APW gym. And so it was like this weird mix of both.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, the only thing I remember was, like, you were the Jim Carrey guy. That's the guy I remember. Like, that's how I remembered. I was like, and you did, like, the facial expressions, like, to a T. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. Like, looks so much like him. It's so crazy. But, yeah, so was that before or after you started training at APW then?
So the APW saga, so I never actually trained at APW. I paid for 6 months. So at the time...
Oh, and you got that money back, right?
No, that plays joking. Into things too.
I'm joking. There's no way you're getting that money back.
That's fucking long gone, brother. No more. So at the time, I co-ran a children's theater company out of Dublin. So I would do improv class. I taught improv. I was a director, and I directed shows at the summer camps and all that stuff. So part of what I did was stage combat. And I did 6 months into me prepaying APW, and I was getting ready to go. I was the worst stage combat instructor ever, and I took a really bad pratfall, and I basically broke my neck. I cracked my neck. So it pinched my cervical column. It pinched my spinal cord. It shifted. So because of that, I had to go into Roland and tell him, listen, I was in a halo and all that fucking shit. And told him I had to pull out. I don't feel confident with this. I'm really worried about my neck. It sucks. And of course he said, well, you signed a contract. So you owe me this much still. Like, he didn't even allow me to back out of the contract. He said, no, you still got to pay it. And I said, I don't, for what reason? You haven't rendered a service or anything to me. I haven't received a product. So, we went round and round on that. It was pretty fucking ballsy of me to do at fucking 18 or however old I was, because, Roland will get what he wants. But, in the end, Roland let me out of the contract as long as I paid him $500 more. So I did that. So, I ended up, basically making a $2,500 donation to APW at that time, and I had no fucking money. Like,
Yeah.
it was that hurt. It was a hurting, but so I was worried about my neck. I thought it was, I can't do this shit anymore. I just focused on my theater stuff, teaching, and then my neck started feeling better. It healed. I was able to roll around and do stage combat classes again, and felt pretty good. So at that time, I was still apprehensive about what I could do to my neck. How much would it hurt if I was actually in a ring, bumping? And I was perusing and lurking on the NorCal Uncensored message board back in the day, and Nick had posted something about WFW, looking for if you want to come mess around in a ring, or we're looking for wrestlers or whatever. So I emailed Nick, and he told me to come down and check it out. And my intention was, I'm going to go down there. It's in an actual ring. So a weird thing with me, and it seems, especially because I did WFW, it seems kind of weird for me to say, but I didn't want to be a backyard wrestler. That was one thing. It's like, as much as I want to, if I wrestle, I kind of respect it enough to be like, I want to do it inside a ring. So I never did any backyard wrestling. Untrained wrestling, of course, as WFW would become. But I was always in a ring. I never was on a mattress in a backyard. That was, for some reason in my fucking head, that made sense to me, to respect the business in that way. Whatever.
Yeah.
So I figured, hey, it's a ring. It's actually APW's ring, so I'm familiar with the building or whatever. So I went, and
Hey, you paid for part of that ring, as far as I'm concerned.
I did. I think I paid for the fucking upstairs apartment, Donovan's cats and shit. So I did WFW, and Nick and I became really fast friends really quick, and I dug it. I was able to do things just fine. My neck felt great, and it kind of rolled from there. I just kept going at it and seeing what I can do. It was also the first realization that of my respiratory limitations would be a severe clamp down on how far I could go. So it was a reality check that I was okay with, because I was never someone who was like, I'm going to make it to WWE. Like, that's what I want to do. My big thing, is dumb as it is I just wanted to have like some type of creative expression. I thought it was a really cool medium to do stuff with, and it's interesting. That's all I wanted. So within because my friend Kevin and I went there, and we had this whole fucking match worked out. We fucking canned the whole thing like beans, dude. It was like a 30-minute fucking match. We had all these fucking spots. We were in package. We had package A through Z, all this stuff that we were going to call. And then 2 minutes into the fucking match, I'm blown out the fucking building sky high, sucking air because I had an asthma attack. So I was like, let's fucking pull the fucking reins on that shit. So that was a fun time. Getting to learn. There was a lot of people that went through there. I mean, that's how I met Taylor Chupacabra, and Dave Dutra came in with the UG. Was it UGWA, or is it just at that time? So yeah, and that was a fun time. And Nick was kind of like my gateway. Nick was I can't credit him enough for kind of what he did for me, because I'm not that interesting of a person. He had no reason to be friendly with me or to take me under his wing like that. But he kind of introduced me more to APW, the other people through APW. And during this time, Roland found out that I was doing in the ring there, because they have the fucking web camera in the gym. So he talked to Nick about it, and he told Nick that this is what Nick told me. I don't, whether this is fucking fabricated to stroke my fucking ego, I have no idea. Don't know why. But Nick said that what Roland basically told him was, he either leaves and doesn't come back, or you stop doing WFW. So Nick said, I'll stop doing WFW. Wow. So I worked the last couple shows there with a hood on, just fucking around. I didn't really have a match. And then he pulled the plug, and that's when Taylor, when Chupa's just like, hey, come to Sacramento with me. Ugly's there, and he's pretty cool. Just come with me once or twice, see if you like it. And the rest is, as they say, is not quite history, but different setting.
Yeah, that was I was glad to hear from some people that Roland was less vindictive later in life, but at the time it was definitely a like, you screw with me, buddy? I don't think so. Like that kind of attitude.
And I understand it. Like, of course, the older I get, I can see from his point of view, it's not like he was wrestling at that time was this huge fucking moneymaker. I'm sure Beyond the Mat helped a lot. I'm sure he really got a lot of movement from that, but he's not living in a fucking palace. And when stuff like that happens, that's, almost, that's losing money for him. So I get it. Kind of jumping forward way back, he was still holding on to that grudge decades later.
Oh, really?
And so in 2011, again, just kind of jumping forward a little bit, but in 2011, when I came back and started wrestling again, I reached out to him on Facebook and apologized, basically, because I understood that, how it seemed. Because the one thing he said to me, he says, "I'll let you out. You can pay me $500. How magnanimous that is. Give me $500 more, just if you come back, train here, come train here." And I said, sure. And that didn't end up happening. I went to SPW. So that's part of that axe to grind. So I apologize for that. And I said, I understand that was immature of me. And I just wanted to get it off my chest because it's something I had felt some form of guilt for years. And his reply to that was, "That's great." So, and then he posted the link to the APW boot camp in the message. So again, I mean, once that bridge is burnt, brother, it's not getting built back up. I learned that. So I get in these weird sentimental moods where I'm like, I'm just going to go on an apology tour and just fall on the sword, whatever the case. Sometimes I get something back, and sometimes I get a fucking web link to signing up for another boot camp. So.
Yeah. Well, literally, me and Jesus, the other host of this show, we both were kicked out of the WFW, out of the APW boot camp because of issues with Roland and others. But that's, it happens.
It happened, and especially at that time. APW and everything around here was so territorial. It was like the own little territories, regional territories. So the attitudes were so much fucking different before everything kind of merged together, later on in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I think when the thing is, especially like before business started to get bad, before like the big indie slump of the like mid 2000 area, before that, like it was easy to be territorial because they'd be like, "We're running our shows. Don't do our shows and their shows. How dare you?" Like, but then like once nothing's a great equalizer. Like everyone's starting to lose money because all of a sudden you're like, maybe we all kind of need each other. Yeah. Maybe we all kind of need each other. Maybe, rising tides, all ships, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And it did, and it ended up working out. I mean, and APW had phenomenal training. So obviously they had the clout and they had a reason to puff out the chest the way that they did.
Yeah.
It's just not the way I prefer to be treated, but I understand. It's wrestling. That's how it is.
So what was the SPW experience like?
That was fantastic for me. So, going over there, Ugly is firm. He's not throwing shade all the time at you or telling you. He will be genuine and tell you about your strengths, and tell you, what to lose. He's very matter of fact, and I like that honesty in training. I like the kind of openness and directness with training where it's not all negativity, right? It's criticism, and there's a difference. There's a balance, and I really like that with Ugly. I mean, the way that I looked and the way that I am, it's not like anyone had high expectations for me. It wasn't Timmy, coming in there with looking like $1 million, somewhat already. So I was just kind of another face in the camp. When I got there, it was, I think Virgil was still training. Timmy hadn't come there yet. It was Virgil, Mike Hayashi, Will Heitman, Otis, Sir Samurai, I think was still a student at that time. Good. I know I'm forgetting other people, but it was a little group, and Taylor, of course. But it was really cool. What I liked about the biggest influence that Ugly had on me was introducing me to Torimon. Because of all the Japanese stuff that I saw, it was always the fucking the big dudes, right? It was Noah or it was New Japan.
Yeah, you saw people slapping the shit out of each other.
Exactly. Fucking Giant Baba desperately trying to fucking walk a ring and do a Russian leg sweep. So when I saw Torimon for the first time, it blew my fucking mind because it was poetry to me, right? So in Torimon, it was submission based, but the kind of Skyday way of doing things is it's not, the submission isn't what's beautiful about it. It's how you get into it, the motion that how you get into something and how you do it that makes it beautiful and makes it a spectacle. So I was fucking all about that. I mean, the negative of it is that I liked it so much that that's what I wanted to do. And that's not the way I should have ever been wrestling. It doesn't fit it doesn't fit me, but I really enjoyed it. So just like most people, when they wrestle, if they see something that they like or a performer that they like, they want to try and do that similar style. It took me a long time to learn that I have to kind of just love it from afar through a window pane, while it's raining outside, but I can visit it every now and then, but I don't have full custody of it. So, but yeah, we would watch Torimon all the time. Ugly was very collective. He valued our opinions on things, even if we didn't know what the fuck we were talking about. He wanted that discussion about wrestling, and it helped out a lot. All the students, we felt individualized, not just lumped in with another group, because everybody had their submission, everyone had their pin, everyone had their fault, whatever the case may be, and all the students knew, okay, you can't use this is Chance's, right? This is Chance's pin, you can't use that one. I like that because it made me feel like I had value, even though I knew in the big picture I was just just another stain on the wall somewhere.
And then, so how'd you end up doing some shows for Pro Wrestling Iron?
That was through Vinny. So
Okay.
I ended up, I sold the theater company because people just weren't signing their kids up for theater anymore. It was soccer or sports, right? So the theater was kind of dropping off, children's theater. So I was doing odd jobs. I was a fire systems engineer for a while, working with AutoCAD. And then eventually I went to work for a pest control company, and Vinny worked there. And it was fucking crazy because I was a huge Vinny Massaro mark. So we hit it off really big through work. We would talk all day, over the phone about wrestling and stuff like that. And that's kind of how I got in with, the Iron crowd. Like, he vouched for me. Again, that's another, my life is nothing but putting people over that stuck their fucking necks out for me when no one should have. But he stuck his neck out for me. He would tell Donovan and everyone, he's okay, let him do his stuff and get him on these shows. So yeah, I mostly worked the dojo shows. I think I worked one actual out in an arena show, and for the life of me I can't fucking remember what show it was, but I know that it was the only fucking time in wrestling that I wrestled without a shirt or some type of singlet, because Vinny said if you work this show you got to go out with your fucking white ass fucking glaring at everybody. So I think it was against Ugly and Vinny, and I took the weapons of mass destruction, and that's all I remember. And that was a show Vinny gave me a forearm that was so fucking hard that I got involuntary Tourette's in the middle of the ring. Fucking hit me in the corner. And I don't think it was a receipt. I don't think I did anything stiff to him. It was just Vinny being Vinny. And he knew that I could take it, but he hit me, and I just had a string in, there's people around the stage or whatever, but the ring, but I just let loose with some god awful string as I slumped down in the fucking corner, watching the lights fade out. But that was a fun show. And the weapons of mass destruction that they gave me, when I flipped over and took the Canadian destroyer, my fucking Gumby ass rolled like fucking Sonic the Hedgehog all the way across the ring into the fucking corner. Fucking nuts. And that's all I remember about that show. I couldn't fucking tell you I don't know where it was. My memory has these weird blackout periods. Like I know that Choopy and I were like married at the hip for like 2 years, and we went to all these fucking shows, and it was all Taylor's doing. I was just there for the ride, going with him to all these shows. And, we worked for Rob Wiles and all sorts of fucking weird ass shows. And I don't remember a fucking thing. I just remember that we did so many fucking shows and fairgrounds within a short amount of time. And then, so my wrestling memory has gaps here and there.
And is Choopy how you got into Hoodslam?
No, not that I recall. So when I came back in 2011, I was working SPW shows, and on the shows was, Johnny, Plinko, Butabi, whatever, Johnny and Sheik, Sam was working those shows. So, I hit it off pretty well with Johnny up front just because of all the video game stuff, similar interests. So we hit it off, and I had a triple threat with Sam at some point, and she apparently enjoyed working with me. And when I love gear, so I had at that time, I think I had 5 different pairs of tights that I would take with me, and I would just choose, I would cycle them out, which one I use. And Sam saw that I had the Johnny Cage tights in my bag, and that's kind of how that kernel started. So she asked me if I would be interested in going to Hoodslam at the time, and I was resistant at first, just because I'm such a fucking nerdnik in a square. I don't smoke, I don't drink. So at that time in my head, falsely, all I saw was like, oh, it's just a show where everyone has an excuse to fucking smoke weed or get drunk and have a show. And I was like, that doesn't sound like the safest work environment. But I figured I'll do a show with Johnny Cage, be pretty fun, and I can actually commit to that character fully and see what happens. And as is usually the way with Hoodslam for everybody, you go to one show, and one show is then that's all it takes. So I went there and I was like, oh, this is my jam. So it kind of went from there. So yeah, I remember it being kind of Sheik and Johnny that really kind of instigated and pushed me to go.
I'm just like imagining like you going like back in time, like in your mind's eye, and like telling Roland like, fine, I'll give you your 500, but one of these days I'm gonna be wrestling an invisible Charlie Chaplin in front of 1,000 people in Oakland, and you can suck it, all right? And then just leaving.
I'm pretty sure he'd still have the same answers.
Yeah,
I don't think that would fucking matter to him. I mean, I know he really enjoyed the Hoodslam shows, but I still don't think he enjoyed my work at Hoodslam when I was there. I don't know, because Larry Blackwell, he's another person that there's these like Mount Rushmore of people in wrestling that were nice to me that should never have. And Larry's one of those people, again, that really helped me with people at APW trusting me, Roland aside. Right. So, and this is kind of going in the way back machine, but so I would hang around as like Nick's flunky, and Nick would do the filming for Gym Wars and stuff, right? So I just be that dipshit there screaming Super Dragon over and over the top of my lungs, being the fucking worst mark on earth.
We've all been there. We've all been there.
And I was there for a very long time, embarrassingly long. And I was very intimidated. I mean, I'm incredibly shy and introverted anyway, so I'm never going to start a conversation by myself for fucking anything. And Larry, I can't even remember why. I don't know why he did it, but Larry, after one of the Gym Wars shows, is like, hey, I'm having a birthday party, next week, you're free to come if you want. And I was like, me? He's like, yeah, just come to my, we're all going to my house having a birthday party. And I thought, oh, that's fucking weird, but I'll do it. It was outside of my comfort zone. I felt weird, but I went there and I played Soul Calibur with fucking everybody, and from that, like, I really learned I love James Watkins. He was always super nice, gracious dude to me. Larry, Sarah Del Rey, or Nikki at the time, we actually would conversate. Like there's from that, I got a lot more comfortable feeling that, well, I may not feel like I fully belong with all these other fantastic performers, but it eased my mind a little bit to kind of enjoy some of the interaction when I could. So I can't even remember the fucking point of the question at this point.
Oh no, we're just waxing lyrical about talking about, just thinking about like it is just a weird trip that, like, especially with Hoodslam, like you think about how crazy and bananas Hoodslam is, and then like how originally you were signing up for like APW, which at the time was very much like, this is very serious, guys. Like,
yeah,
this is.
And it would have driven me nuts, dude.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have been able to survive if I had I gone through. I probably wouldn't have made it. Not necessarily because the cardio would have fucking broken me completely, but yeah, the super serious environment I felt was not. It doesn't work me. It's not that I don't take it serious. It's not that I'm looking for someone to be lenient. I just want there to be some type of humanity and community to what they're doing. And the community at that time felt just very, very not elitist. That's a bad word for it, but that's the closest I can come up. It was the clique, right? It was everyone at APW was very serious about their craft. And I was like, but I want to, I like fucking Skinner. And I like Repo Man. Like, That's kind of what I want to explore here. Not that they didn't have great characters and great gimmicks, because they did. But yeah, I don't think that would have been a good fit for me. So yeah. Even things always have a way of working out the way they're supposed to, one way or another. So
yeah. So I want to talk a little bit more about Pro Wrestling Iron, because
let's do it.
we have some mutual people we know from the Pro Wrestling Iron days.
Yep.
Some are better than others. So I'll start that out. But I'm curious, actually, before we get into any of the funner stuff, I'm curious what you thought about like the vibe at Pro Wrestling Iron, because like I remember when I first started helping out there, it was very much like we all were so like positive, like, oh, this is going to be it. This is like the next big thing. We got Noah connection. Everything's going great. And I had this talk with Michael Modest recently when we did this documentary thing. We're going to come out with him about like the way it was in the beginning versus the way it was at the end. Like, how did you feel like the vibe was? Because it very, once it tailored off, it left me very sad, because I loved it at the time when it was very good. And then the second it seemed like, oh, this is going off the rails now, that's when it bummed me out.
And I mean, and I think it's been said before that, I think it's valid that a large part of that decline was that, Donovan and Modest were working everywhere so much that it's weird where you have someone creating a company and they're the parents and then they're gone most of the time. And sure, you have, people like Vinny and other people to fill in for the training. The training's fine, but it's just not the same. You feel like it's just being neglected, sort of. It's just kind of being left. But at least of the vibe that I got, it felt more accessible to me than APW was. It was a serious vibe, but it was more human. So like, when I would do the Iron shows, they had Malachi and a lot of the Reno guys there, and they're fucking ribbing anyways. And Vinny's very, effervescent and always joking and jockeying for a laugh. So, and because I was with Vinny, I don't want to say I had that protection, because I certainly got fucking I got ribbed and poked fun of as much as anybody, but it helped, because Vinny knew how difficult it was for me to converse with people and to be that person. So I did, and just like I do at Hoodslam and other places, I spend a lot of time just kind of in the background watching everything and taking everything in. It looks like I'm having an awful time, but I'm not. I'm just a very pensive. I'm always in my head because it's the safest place I know where to be. So, but it was a lot easier to manage, and that's why I felt more comfortable, working there and working those gym shows. And I never asked to go to to work those larger shows. That the one that I did with Vinny was him just kind of saying, okay, we're going to do this, so you're going to come with me, and kind of force me into it, which it ended up being fine. But it was cool. And you had a lot of the young guys there that were training that were really good. You had Dane, and you had Ray Kejimura and Joey Harder, and all those guys for being green were really good. And that says something to that training. They made an impression. Navigating things with really the only rough part of Iron for me, at least, and it's not, saying it's rough is kind of overplaying it, but it is dealing with, Seth, Ryan Drago / Simon Gotch. So he's, how do I, he was never like an asshole to me. In fact, we would talk about, nerdy shit all the time, because he's very, into the same stuff that I am. But when it came to like wrestling, one thing is he always like pushed the buck. So we would have a match and he would jam his knee, and then it would be Chance, it would be my fault. A Chance, why did you jam my knee? I'm like, I didn't even touch your knee, bro. Like, it's not my fault if your footing was off. So, and it was, he always just had a weird thing. And years later, when we wrestled at what was it? CCW, with Buddy and JJ's thing. I wrestled him as Super Otaku on that. And I don't think he enjoyed that very much, but I don't know. Years later, I never try to, people change, and I'm sure that he was fine. And once he did, before he went up, to NXT and all that stuff, he just started doing his strongman gimmick. And I saw on Facebook him posting stuff about doing the strongman gimmick, and I thought it was fucking awesome. So like I did reach out to him then, and I messaged him and said, hey, I know my opinion doesn't fucking matter, but that's it. Like, that's what you stick with that. Again, I thought it fit him perfectly, because he's someone that always kind of floundered with finding something that worked for him. So I hope he's doing well.
Yeah. At the time, I really felt like he was just like wrestling has a lot of big personalities, and especially like I worked at like Big Time Wrestling, and Kirk White would bring in, Bret Hart, the Road Warriors, Billy Gunn, like big names. Yeah. And I've never felt big timed as much as I did by Seth. And he was just an indie dude who had just finished training not that long ago. And I just felt like he constantly big timed people around him. And I was like, it bugged me, because I was like literally like Bret Hart doesn't big time people, and like to me, like I just thought it was a shitty thing to do. It was a shitty way to act. And other people have said stuff about stuff he does in the ring that they were like, what are you doing? And they kind of like, he maybe tried to like take advantage of some people in the ring, stuff like that. And that kind of thing is, obviously not okay also. Yeah. So like, that's my main thing with him. I was just never a fan of his. Like I said, maybe he's grew up and he's a totally different dude now. Who knows? But at the time, I really felt like just like, this is just a dude that, like someone just like, they rub you the wrong way immediately, and you're like, I don't like this.
Yeah. And again, I don't want to sit here and smash a mallet on the guy, because I'm sure that he had dealing with his own issues that I had no idea about. But that's a pretty good assessment, is that you always felt big timed by him in some way, that he was kind of always looking down no matter who it was, which is odd.
Yeah. But yeah, PWI was a crazy thing, because like the wrestling was so good. Like you mentioned, we released the match recently with with Hook Bomberry and Bison Smith, and that was like Hook's fifth match ever.
Cheer for your hero. Where's your hero now?
Yeah. So such a great match. And I was like, oh. But like Joey Harder and like Ray Kijimura, those guys were awesome too. Like, like Joey was always a guy I was shocked when he kind of quit, because I was like, oh, I thought like he would have kept going with it for a while, but I guess it's just, it just depends, you never know who's gonna quit the business and who's gonna stay in it, like even Scott Lost, I interviewed him and he had a pretty long run in PWG, but he's like, oh yeah, sometimes I think like, oh, I guess if I would have stuck through this for like another 10 years, I'd be like an AEW or something with all my other friends. And he's like, but then I think, God, I'd have to do this for another 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, when it's your time to go, it's your time to go. That's why I think people retire and unretire so often.
Yeah.
That's the pull. You get that itch again, or, I've gone on and off 3 times. So it's the same thing every time. Oh, this is now I think of something new I kind of want to play around with, or, something catches your eye that makes you want to do it again. And some guys just don't, I don't know. They don't get that.
Yeah.
Depends on what it also depends on what their motivation for doing it to begin with was,
Yeah.
What's fulfilling them.
Yeah. Well, like I washed out pretty quickly after only a few months at Iron. It was like multiple things. It was like, 1, my heart wasn't really in it. 2, my car like got stolen and I didn't have a ride anymore, like all kinds of shit. But that was just an excuse for the fact that I was like, this probably isn't for me. So I figured that out immediately. But because I realized the thing I was into it was I was like you said, oh, I'm not in this to like, I don't think I'm ever going to be in WrestleMania. Like I thought I'm in this because I really like hanging out with these dudes. I like the camaraderie with it and whatever. And so I stayed involved with indie wrestling without actually being a wrestler. So that's just what I ended up doing.
Yeah.
And then now I do this, which is fun.
Yeah.
But so you got into it and you ended up finding Hoodslam, which is like perfect for what you were into it for. You're like, I love the vibe. I love the entertainment aspect, which is, they literally have an event called Entertain Ya. So that's what it is. Are there any moments though where, you mentioned, don't drink, don't smoke, any of that. Is there any moments though when it did kind of clash with you where you're like, oh, I don't know if I feel comfortable right now in this situation?
No. That's what was so cool about it. Yeah. And I mean, by the time that I had, I was going to Hoodslam, all the boys and gals knew how I roll, right? The twins, they knew that I wasn't into that. So no one was disrespectful of that, right? Like, so you don't have anyone pressuring you, being like, dude, come on, Chance, what are you doing? Like, no one does that to me. They know that why I'm there, and I don't judge anyone for doing it. I don't care at all what anyone, it's just not for me. And as far as like, you would see people, people are smoking backstage or they're drinking, but once you get in the ring, they handle their shit. The only time I ever got really hurt bad at Hoodslam was my own doing. Is me fucking up or not hearing something called correctly. It was never anyone else's fault or a poor dexterity due to substance influence, whatever you want to call it.
I thought you were going to say poor dexterity because I rolled the wrong die earlier. But
fail, rolled
that
1
night. Yeah,
the dexterity is already low enough as it is.
Yeah, speaking of your persona, the pissed off nerdy gamer, talk to me about Superplex.
Oh my God, Jesus. Yeah. So the most embarrassing of my outings there. So I have many interests, right? So there's a lot of things that make me tick. It's one of the main reasons why I kind of cycle in and out on wrestling, because other interests, whether it's, pinball or during that time frame, I've dabbled in game design. I took game design courses and I wanted to make something, but I could never do something in video games because you need too many people. I'm not that talented. So I went through a stint for a few years where I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a tabletop game. I'm going to work on tabletop designs and I'm going to get something published. So Superplex is part of that. So Superplex is a micro game It's 18 cards only, so they fit it into a wallet. So it was a travel game, and it's basically it's a wrestling themed micro game, and essentially it's just because what I find funny about like video game wrestling games, a lot of it, like when you boil down the mechanics for a lot of them, is it's rock paper scissors, right? Just like with all the N64 games, all that fucking is a new coat of paint, an awesome coat of paint on rock paper scissors, as far as how to be good at it. It's that psychology of it. So I figured I'd do the same thing with Superplex, except kind of put it on steroids and so to speak, and turn it up. So it's kind of this push your luck rock paper scissors game where the more moves you get off in a row, the more you can win the rock paper scissors in a row. The more damage you do, the more setups you do, and then you can finish off and get enough momentum to do all these finishing moves. So in essence, it was great. The problem with that game is I literally designed it in a day and a half for this publisher that was doing the wallet game. So it's a little. There are things that I see about it that I was like, that should not be in there. Like I can do better than that now.
You didn't have time to play test it, basically.
Yeah, I really didn't. No, because the publisher that published all these micro games, I was like, hey, this is a concept I have for the game. What do you think about it? And he's like, that actually sounds really good. Let's do it. So I had the art done and everything done within 2 weeks and sent over to him. And in hindsight, I was like, yeah, it's probably not the best move. Definitely not the best thing I've made, but it's still cool. Like the characters are really neat. The muscle caricatures were a big anchor. The Kinnikuman was a huge anchor for the art style of the game and the feel. So a lot of the characters in there are kind of in that Kinnikuman, very out there style and weirdness. And of course, P.O.N.G was a character because selfless Mark.
There you go. Always be promoting.
Exactly.
Yeah. You mentioned pinball. I have a 1979 Stern Dracula pinball machine.
A 79 one?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. That one, have I played Dracula? I know Bram Stoker's Dracula, of course. So that one, that's a DMD game. So do you have that like in your garage? Or
yeah, I have it in the garage. The thing is, I actually just got a new motherboard because the motherboard is destroyed now. So I just got a new one to put in. So I have like one of my cousins. He like does solder work and stuff. So he's gonna come in and do it for me and get it installed so I can play it again. But yeah, my dad bought it in like 1989 from some guy for like $50.
Of course.
Yeah. And I'm like, and it's been sitting in the garage for that long. And I was just like, what?
Man.
I'm gonna. And then I looked up like how it would be to fix it.
Yeah.
Because he said it's just the motherboard that's the problem. And so then I looked up and apparently it's really easy. As long as you can solder it, you could fix it pretty easily.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right.
But I mean, it's very intimidating. I mean, for most people, when you lift up a pinball playfield and you look underneath it, you're like, Jesus fucking Christ,
Yeah.
What is this shit? And yeah, a lot of the pinball repair people, the people that are good at it, have fucking robotics degrees and shit. Like some of the games, you really do have to have some type of engineering background to fix it. But 90% of the stuff, man, you're good at soldering or just tracing a wire or checking fuses or some dumb shit like that, and you can fix it up. So does that have I'm assuming that's a solid state, so that has like the digital display and all that on there. So
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. And then I saw like online people were selling like the original manual like on eBay, and I think if I would get it like fixed, like I want to get that too. I just want to have like the whole thing all set up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and and then you'll get all the schematics in there that'll make your head spin again, and you're like, how does anyone look at this and know what the fuck this says? This is like Sanskrit. So yeah, it's a sickness for sure. My first pinball was Tales from the Crypt, and I got it just because I wasn't into pinball. I was just like, I'm making a game room for my house, and I have to have one of every experience. So I got a Crazy Taxi, for the sit down writing, game.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was like, I'll just get some fucking bullshit pinball machine, and I'll get something that kind of seems interesting. So I saw Tales from the Crypt out in Stockton, and I was like, fuck, Tales from the Crypt, I'm all about that. So I brought it home, and then it's a fucking sickness, man. I don't ever recommend it to anybody, because once you start getting into pinball, it's like the worst, most expensive fucking hobby ever. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's fun though. It's great.
A buddy of mine who I went to elementary school with, his dad was a video game repair person. So like I would go to his house, and his garage just literally would have like a rotating array of like 20 different video games, like arcade games.
Yeah.
Because then, after he would fix it, it would take, a couple days before he would return it to the person.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, oh yeah, so these ones work today. So you just have like 10 new games that you could just sit there. Let me put it on free mode for you. Okay. And I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, your dad's the coolest guy in the planet,
Oh, especially back in the day. Like, because nowadays, home arcades and stuff is much more normal.
There was no emulators.
No, fuck that. My friend Jason had a hollowed out arcade machine in his house where he'd switch the JAMA boards, and I thought it was the fucking end all be all of the universe. I was like, wait, so you have fucking Ninja Turtles and fucking General Chaos like on a fucking JAMA board? And we would switch them out like carts. And he had the WWF WrestleFest or Superstars or whatever it is. I was like, God, it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that Ninja Turtle game is aces.
Absolutely.
The ones that I remember, like this is super off wrestling talk now. The one number ones were like the Simpsons game, the Ninja Turtles game, the X-Men game. It's just, oh my God.
I can still remember walking through the movie theater and hearing the X-Men game with fucking Colossus doing his super over.
Yes.
Or the Simpsons game, listening to the fucking Bart and Lisa tag team move where they run around.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
I think it was both the Ninja Turtle and the X-Men one too. Everyone, when they did a jumping kick, they did it like a drop kick. I remember that. I was always like, it's a drop kick. I was like, flying drop kick. It's awesome. Anyway,
fucking days.
With that, the booker has definitely ran out and said, time to take it home, brother. Because anyone who's listening to this who's not into video games, I apologize, but oh well.
Everyone's into video games. Fuck them.
Yeah. So let's go ahead. These are, some rapid fire questions, but of course, take as much time as you need. There's no crazy rules here. There's no actual promoter. Roland's not going to come take your money. So everything's fine.
He'll try.
Yes. What are some of your favorite road stories from your days on the indie scene?
Because I'm such a awful friend maker, like I did a lot of my traveling alone. Taylor and I traveled a lot during that time period where we were married at the hip, but it's mostly just kind of lighthearted. So, I'm not fucking wild and crazy. I'm not cool. So, people like fucking Adam Thornso and twins that are super, everyone likes them and they like hanging around them because they're fun. I'm not that fucking person. I can't let loose like that. So, I'm a fucking, wet sand and underwear type of person. So, I don't remember anything specifically like with, running around with Taylor or anything that's a fucking crazy story. I do remember once, like the road stories that I do have is from before I actually wrestled, like with Nick, running around with Nick. So APW, I think it was APW, maybe it was someone else was doing shows down in LA. I want to say Barstow, but I really don't think that that's it. Is there a Legion Hall or something that they did a show at one time? Fuck. But Nick said, hey, there's a show in LA tonight, like Super Dragon's there. It's a lot of the SoCal guys are on the show. Maybe it was Rev Pro. I know for sure that we watched, I think it was a Rev Pro show was in Frankensons.
Mm.
And I know that Nick and I watched quite a few shows in Frankensons when we went down for the weekend. And I remember there was I think it was a Super J Cup or something like that. And the fucking finish of the final match was Super Dragon versus Mr. Excitement, which I always got a fucking kick out of, that someone's gimmick was Mr. Excitement. Yes. And he's the most unexciting person I've ever seen. And the fucking finish to the goddamn match was Mr. Excitement giving Super Dragon a fucking dragon suplex off the top rope. And I thought that was the fucking craziest and dumbest shit I've ever seen. And I was all about it. That blew my fucking mind. Because I was already, there for Super Dragon, whatever was happening. That blew my mind. Anyways, there's this show. Nick called me and he said, "Hey, there's this show in LA. Come down here and help me out with this stuff." And I was like, "Okay, when is it?" And he's like, "It's in 3 hours or 4 hours." And I live, I was in Dublin at the time. So I fucking got in my shitty ass Nissan Sentra and I violated all sorts of fucking speed codes that I'm surprised my car made it through. And I don't think I've ever made it to LA faster than I did that night. And I got there right as the fucking doors open. And that was fucking crazy. The other thing is Nick and I went to the last 2 Epic shows. So Epic and one of those shows was the show that got canceled where they had the main event, which is the Dragon versus Dragon versus Dragon. I think it was Ultimo versus American versus Super Dragon, and everyone was fucking ready for it. So Nick and I made a whole meal out of it. We went up there, fucking jazzed about the show, and the show never happened, got canceled. And then Nosawa was out in the parking lot chopping people for t-shirts. And it was a real fucking weird, like sitting in that parking lot for a fucking couple hours just watching Ultimo Dragon, wondering what the fuck is going on, and Nosawa chopping everybody. And it was a neat experience as someone at that time was just going up there to be a fan, to see like wrestlers are just hanging out and fucking joking with people and trying to hustle and get their merch, brother, get that fucking dollar, brother. So that's a lot of my, road trip, stories wise. I'm pretty mild. I don't do any. I never found myself in a crazy position or, doing anything too crazy.
Speaking of what you said, you were talking about, I'm the quiet guy that sits in the corner and blah, blah. But when you were working shows with some people maybe you weren't so familiar with, did you ever get like the vibe that maybe people thought like, oh, what's this guy's deal? Like, why does this guy not like us?
Yeah, no, all the time. And people, I still, and I don't try to exude that vibe because, again, I genuinely am probably enjoying where I am. I'm very pensive and I'm not a small talk type of person. A lot of people at Hoodslam know that about me. They just know that's how Chance is. But yeah, you go to these shows where people aren't used to me, and it seems like I just don't want to be there. I'm very quiet. I'm kind of in my own world. And there's a couple times where I definitely get that chilly vibe going on. But then when it comes to, working out a match or talking with someone, when I have an actual focus for what we're talking about, I'm all about it. It's just when people try to do, small talk with me, or like it's as weird as this to say, having interactions with fans for me is very jarring because I don't like performing for me in the ring is very emotionally draining because it's not who I am. It's a light switch that goes on. I am completely fucking kayfabing all emotion, and I'm an automaton until I go out of the curtain, and then it comes off. So after the show, I can never still be in character.
Yeah.
At Hoodslam, when they were running the merch and I had my t-shirt, I came out with my t-shirt design for merch. Corey, the guy running the merch table, he'd be like, "Hey man, come out, when your match is done and stuff, come out and work the merch table, in character as P.O.N.G. And I'm like, that sounds like fucking torture. I can't do that, dude. I'm sorry. Like, it's not the way because it's the performative aspect is very like, you're in the ring, you're doing your match. That's the play, right? Scene. Curtain comes down. Like after the show, when you're doing a meet and greet with the cast, I don't want someone to be still like fucking fabing me, acting like a heel. Like, we get it. That wrestling is a work. Stop it. Like, so again, my personal opinion, I don't think anyone else should act like me. It's, I'd probably sell more merch and be better liked by, have more fans if I actually did that shit. But but once it comes down to like talking about a match and working something through, it's a lot easier for me to relate and kind of get on the same wavelength with people.
Yeah. I used to go to, when they used to have it, the Los Angeles Podcast Festival. And when you go there, speaking of nerdy things, that's a super nerdy thing to do. But like, there would be guys there like pretty prominent podcasters like Mark Maron would be there, and like Sarah Silverman and Patton Oswalt, all kinds of people would show up, and they would just be like kind of chilling and talking. And there's a dude I remember, it's one of the funniest things. His name is Howard Kramer.
Yeah, Howard Kramer, who charted.
Yeah, great podcast. So in the podcast community, he's very well known.
Yeah.
So we're out like in like, it's like the Esplanade area, the hotel, you know, like outdoor bar area. And we're sitting there, we're all like in a circle, and we're just all talking. It's just a bunch of fans and him. And we're just bullshitting. And somebody asked him a question about the podcast. And he goes, hey man, hold on. He goes, let's just pretend I don't have a podcast. He's all up until now, we've all been just friends. And he's like, let's just keep that going, man.
Let's keep it going.
Yeah. He's all, just pretend I don't have a podcast. Let's not let's not even talk about that. He's like, we're talking about all kinds of stuff. Let's talk about everything. And he's like, I was like, I love that. I love that so much. He was like, hold on. Just pretend I don't have one right now. Just we're buds right now. Why can't we just be friends right now?
I'd akin to that is like me at work. I don't want fucking anybody at work to know that I ever used to wrestle or that I do wrestle. I don't fucking want that coming out. I'm at work to work, and that's it. Like I let, the branch manager for me, I let him know what I do because, usually once or twice when Hoodslam was running a month, I'd have to take the company car out to Oakland. So I'd let him know. But other than that, it's like, I don't want someone blowing my cover here, because then everything's going to be the same thing. It's going to be, hey, Hulk Hogan. Wasn't Hulk Hogan cool? And I'm like, yeah, it was really cool. You want to talk more about what happened like 20 years ago about Stone Cold? Yeah.
Or that awkward, like they accidentally bump into you, go, oh, sorry, guy. Don't want you to body slam me into the table. And you're like,
off. Yeah. For Christ's sake, I get it. Yes. Wrestling's a thing. Everyone thinks it's a joke. It's funny. Yeah.
So with wrestling kind of in, hiatus in the area as it is right now, what is your latest creative outlet that you're working on?
That's a good question. So lately I've been reorganizing a lot of my game room stuff. It sounds super uninteresting, but
you're talking to a guy who has, you're talking to a guy who has like all 200 of his DVDs by alphabetical order. So continue. Yeah. It's fine.
Yes. It's because I had, different storage solutions, like working stuff out like that. I am still working on a couple, I'm learning Unreal Engine 4 game stuff just so I can work on a couple things that are in my head, seeing if I could pull it off by myself. So the avenues are there. I'm kind of in more of a consume mode at the moment, where it's like I have these wavelengths where I'm like, okay, kind of creatively, I don't feel like there's a ton of stuff that I want to do right now. So I'm going to, play games, or I'm going to listen to some audiobooks about particular things to see what that, gets going and moves me on. So I'm kind of at the moment, I'm in that lull. Before the shutdown happened, I was going to go back to wrestling. Cause I had, so with Hoodslam, after losing the gig, so I had the gig for 2 years. And then after I lost it, and I was talking with Sam about what happens afterwards. I was just kind of like, let's just I just want to go off into the sunset. Like back at cause there are some things with wrestling that I do feel very traditional about. And the thing that I like about with territory days, I know this is going off on a tangent. I apologize.
No, totally fine.
But in the territory days, what works so well is the talent. You had face talent that was typically always there, right? They had their baby face that was the regional baby face that hardly ever left the promotion. That's why they're the baby face. Everyone knows them and they have that history. And then you would have the outside heel come in, which would cycle from the other territories. Mm-hmm. And then they do their business, they do their program. And after the heel wins, they get the title, the baby chases, the baby beats the heel, and then the heel fucks off, right? They go. They don't linger around so they can get beaten again and again and again. So that was kind of like with Hoodslam, it was like I could have still gone on and kept wrestling after that. But I'm like, but what does P.O.N.G do after that, right? I had been the heel, the top heel for 2 years with a title, and you lose it. It's like, no, this is the territory. This is when Flair leaves the territory. Just compared myself to Ric Flair, was fucking stupid. But this is a metaphor. So, Flair's leaving the territory now. So I have to go away. Pong has to go away and be completely out of the zeitgeist so that he can come back and make it make sense. Plus, it gives other people what I really liked about Hoodslam and still do is that people get handed the ball that don't normally ever get a ball handed to them. And that really helps. Like the ball, I had a title a couple times, tag titles or something somewhere. But no one ever was like, you know what, I'm going to like give you the title. Like we're going to actually do a program and invest energy into what you do. And I was like, that's fucking nice of you. So like after I figured Pong leaves, someone else has to fill that vacuum. Mike Rain was still doing James, which was a big heel, but it gives the opportunity for someone else to come up and fill that space. Everyone gets bumped up. And I feel, personal opinion, I feel that too often in promotions, people, especially heels, hang around too long. And then it doesn't become special anymore. They don't become special anymore. And then they just do the same thing over and over again. So it's like, I wanted to, I'll leave the territory. I'll come up with some new things, some new directions, new ideas for matches or something that I want to do creatively. And then I'll come back when everything kind of dies down. And that was in April of 2020, I was going to make my return to Hoodslam. And then everything, the rug got pulled.
Both you and Anton had the same idea to come back, and then COVID.
And we were supposed to have a match together. My return match was supposed to be with him, and then he hurt his hand, so they were going to do something else with me. And I was like, man, just can't catch a break. And then when I left my last match at Hoodslam, they had been building up for a year, basically, or a year and a half for me versus Drugs, Bunny, Mikey, and for Entertainia. And unfortunately, poor Mikey, his shoulder, I think, or arm got fucked up, so he couldn't do it anymore. So we had to switch last minute. And that really sucked because I was looking forward to being able to work with Mikey. And I think that, Pong and Drugs could have had something real feisty and interesting. But it's like, and again, during the Hoodslam time, that's all I worked was Hoodslam because I wanted that exclusivity of, I don't want to be Pong anywhere else. It's not good for Hoodslam if Pong is somewhere else. If anyone has a weird idea that they want to actually see a Pong match, they have to go to Hoodslam. They don't get that character anywhere else. So I kind of stuck to that. I have a weird loyalty to things like that when something strikes a chord.
It's good. It makes it more special. So yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite move or hold that you do not use?
So there are things that I used to do that I don't do any longer that I miss quite dearly. So I used to have a move to kind of backtrack. God, I'm so fucking long-winded. To backtrack a bit. So Vinny and I always used to talk about new moves, right? So we'd always create different moves. That's what we talked about on the phone all the time, is making up new things. And I had this move that I used once or twice at CCW, which is, it's like a corkscrew. It's like a double underhook side, like bitch slap power bomb type of move. So it's difficult to explain, but it's really neat. I really liked it. I just don't have the strength to do it efficiently to everybody as I want to. So I had to leave that. Like, I still think that move is really neat. If the opportunity comes down the line and someone's light enough, I might use it again. But like for like normal moves, I think that the fucking Phoenix Splash is fucking crazy. I think people that do it are crazy. Like 5-star, that 5-star shooting star presses are neat, but I don't know, the Phoenix Splash, just the kinetics of that move always impressed me. And I'm like, I'm never going to do that, but it looks pretty sweet. I wish I could. Vertebraker is always good too.
Yeah.
If it wasn't so fucking rough.
Yeah. It's funny because like, when you get older, the crazier moves, they change in your mind. Like I remember watching, WCW Cruiserweights and everything. And every once in a while, like on the WWE Network, I'll pull up like old Psychosis matches with like Rey Mysterio, just like great shit.
Yeah.
And before I would be like, shooting star press. Oh man, that's insane. That's the most amazing thing. But now when I see Psychosis do that top rope leg drop, I'm like, his fucking ass.
Spine.
Like,
Yeah.
like,
dude. Yeah, I get that. Same thing, watching like, the Alabama, anything that's like a top rope leg drop. I'm like, fuck, man. Like the way you have to hit. Like I understand that, the top rope headbutts is a fucking murderer, but
yeah,
God, that has to be like 1A is a fucking leg drop because that shit ripples through your spine.
Psychosis did that shit from the top rope to the floor outside. And I'm like, what are you doing?
How much are they paying you? It's not worth it. I could tell you that much.
Yeah. Like even like Hulk Hogan from all the leg drops needed like spine surgery, and he friggin' just did a little running.
Yeah. He did the shittiest leg drop of all.
Yeah.
That was fucking weird. Yeah. I also do wish I had this idea in my mind for a while. Vidium and I both did, is having throw combinations like King in Tekken. So we had been playing around for so long on different combinations of stuff to do in a row. I definitely could never do it because I would fucking blow up after the second fucking move, all that exertion. But that's something that like that would be cool. It'll never happen, but I would like doing King style linking throws would be neat.
So this is I don't know if this one will have an answer based on what you said about fan interactions already, but what's the craziest fan interaction you've had?
I do have one that's kind of a roundabout. So, and it's funny because I know you asked this question. I was like, fuck, I'm going to be the most boring person to say I don't really interact with fans, which is true to an extent. So at shows, I don't really interact with anyone. However, for my job, I'm in Oakland a lot for my job. And I was doing an inspection for this property complex, and the property manager who's walking around with me keeps like looking at me weird. and I'm going through my whole fucking spiel, doing my little fucking dance, telling him about rodent exclusion and all this horse shit. And he's like, okay, do you wrestle at Hoodslam? And I'm like, oh fuck, my nightmares come true, dude. Like, this is it. This is what I wake up in a cold sweat floor.
You're like, Hood Slam?
No, what are you talking? What are you talking? No, I had to give him like, yeah, I'm Pong, and I did all that. And he was a super fucking Matthew Bergs. Shout out to Matthew Berg. He's fucking super cool. I mean, he didn't make me feel awkward about it at all, and hit it off after that. It gave us something mutual to talk about because he was like was at every Hoodslam show, front row person. So, I mean, I'm blind as a bat without my glasses, and I try not to look anyone in the eye anyways. So I didn't, it's not like I knew from seeing him that he goes to the shows, but yeah, that was always really, and we still email because, I do other business with him, and it's always, fuck the fans and the emails and shit. So it's one of those weird interactions that worked out well for me, but it's like, of course, I'm surprised, honestly, for the 16 years that I've been working there that I haven't been, because I'm in Oakland so much that maybe I just thankfully have that like undescript white guy look that I just fucking look like everybody and no one wants to say anything.
Yeah.
Works to my advantage.
Just make sure you don't reply all with fuck the fans. That's probably could be good on a corporate email. No. When you're working with someone, besides hurting you, what's the worst thing they could do when they're working with you in a match?
Take it too seriously. Like, I feel that in a match, if you're not having fun, if you're thinking that it's a job and it's something that has to be master crafted, I feel like it loses why someone should be doing it anymore. Like, I don't know, like, I get it. Fucking wrestling started as a fucking hoax in the circuses. Like, the whole thing is built on fucking deceit and getting money from people. I understand that. But like nowadays, especially nowadays, we've seen like, because of Hoodslam and stuff like Shikara, things that are more fun based, you'll get great wrestling on those shows, no doubt. Fantastic matches. But the focus is much more geared not towards like kid gimmicks, but entertainment.
Mm.
And that sells more. That attracts people. Nothing attracts a crowd like a crowd. And in order to get that crowd, you have to have something different to set yourself apart. So people that just don't, that take it too seriously, that don't get that aspect of it, that think everything has to be fucking Kawada and Misawa from, 89. And it's like, it's not, it, even in a match, just let loose and have fun. I don't know. Because there's been a couple times where you're in the match with someone and they just don't want to have fun, not to lick the old wound again, but Seth, when he was super otaku, that fucking ridiculous character was so serious in the ring that it's difficult to let loose and to be malleable and listen because you're so fucking tensed up.
Yeah.
So yeah, to me, that's kind of a big no-no. It's just it's a fucking ridiculous thing we're doing. Just own it and enjoy it.
What's a time when you were legitimately surprised by someone in the ring?
It happens quite a bit because there's like, you'll see someone, or I'll see someone, like Kenny K or Anton, that are very naturally athletically gifted, that I'm like, man, that's so, like, I would love to do that. That's how I always wanted to do things, but never will, never can. So I'm always impressed by people that have that level of coordination and memorization and able to perform. Like, that's badass to me. And then when Timmy first started training, or when I first, saw him training in Sacramento, I remember being very impressed, almost like that, you hear Kurt Angle was like, picked up the business faster than, anyone on the planet. It's like, I felt that same way about, like, Tim always seemed to be, even when he was fucking learning and knew next to nothing about chain wrestling, he always looked like he was better at it than ever. It was fucking crazy. Like, it's just, that's someone that deserves to be wherever they go in wrestling. That's someone that fully deserves what they do. I'm super impressed.
Yeah, there's always like a certain presence that people have, and then it's that weird, like, that it thing that you don't know how to, like, quantify. Yeah. It's almost like when you see someone in an airport and you're like, I have a feeling this dude's famous and I have no idea who he is.
It's that charisma role.
Yeah, you look at him, you go like, he's in a band or something. Something's going on. You know what I mean? Like, you just see him, you're like, what's going on here? But yeah, it's that weird thing.
And what's great about Timmy, at least, but back when I knew him and when he was training, is a lot of times with people like that are, have this outgoing, radiating charisma, that it factor. Usually there's some type of, like, overconfidence or exertion of confidence that comes with that, as you're saying, that's what gets you, that person's carrying themselves differently. That's that. But Timmy was always extremely humble. Like, he was so proficient at what he does, but never expected to be treated any differently. Like, it was that he had that charisma and that confidence, but without outwardly showing it or forcing it on people. And I always appreciated that, because I never felt intimidated, even though he just started training and he was undoubtedly better than me at everything. Like, I never felt, I felt comfortable talking to him, as awkward as it is to have a conversation with me.
Has a booker tried to stiff you on money? And if so, what are some fun excuses that they give for doing so?
So, sadly enough, I very rarely ever asked for money in wrestling. Again, for me, it was performance. I always felt bad asking for money, and this is my own neurosis, but for years and years, I mean, it's probably easier for me to name all the payouts I've ever gotten than the ones I haven't, or chose not to. But it comes from, I feel that the money would be better spent on other people on the show that I think are better than me. Like, I'm just happy to have a spot here. You don't need the $20 is whatever. Ironically, that can be, I could only do that for so long, realistically. So I stopped working shows like SPW, which I refuse. I mean, even if they offered to pay me, and they have, I would refuse it, because I owe everything to Ugly on that. So it's like, if I ever work SPW, I'll never ask for pay no matter what. But doing that, driving those hours, spending that amount of time, there's only so long you can go without getting paid. So one of the few times where I made a trek because I was going to get paid was for a Lucha Extreme show in Fresno. Vinny, I think Vinny was booking it. And so Vinny's like, hey, I know it's a long trek. They're doing, TV tapings in Fresno. Come out here and work Wise Guy. Just come out and work it, and we'll get you paid. It'll be, we'll take care of you. And I'm like, okay. So I drove all the way out to Fresno and did the taping, did my match with Wise Guy. And from what I recall, I go see Vinny after the show and he's like, oh, bro, money's coming tomorrow. I'm sorry. Like I don't have anything for you. And I'm like, really? Cause I see people with money like here. And it's like, I'm pretty sure, no, I have no proof, but I'm pretty sure that Vinny's like, because I was his boy, he's like, if I'm going to stiff anybody, I could probably stiff Ryan because he'll take it. He knew how, forgiving or, whatever I am. I'm not going to push the issue, try to be a tough guy and shake him down for fucking $100 or whatever the hell it was. But hey, he might've just pocketed my payout. I have no idea. but that's like the only time I can remember being like, well, that's kind of fucked up because it was a long trip for me. I don't know if there's a detail I'm forgetting about in there that I don't think so. Match with Wise Guy went just fine.
What's the hardest you've laughed at an indie show?
Oh, fuck. It's a go-to answer for a few people, but it's most likely it's something at Hoodslam. The entertainiest shows, there's such fucking batshit crazy. And what's great, what I think is the funniest about Hoodslam for me personally is being in the back and hearing people going over the spot and being like, that's not going to fucking, there's no way that can land and work, right? Like just the timing of it, like, I don't know, we'll see. And then the match goes on and it gets pulled off and it's just better than you ever thought because the energy in the crowd is such a huge part of what makes dumb shit work at Hoodslam. Yeah. The dumbest ideas are safe there because it's really not that much of a judging zone. So I really wish I had a very specific thing, but just Hoodslam in general, there's so many moments. Fucking Larry, when Larry and I were tag teaming in Hoodslam, he came out with a different food every night and would throw it in the audience. And his whole thing was, if we were playing a face role, for a few times we were faces, and he's like, when we play faces, I throw out stuff that is like cereal, dry cereal, or gummy bears, something that's not gross. But then when we were heels and he would come out, he'd bring fucking potato salad. He had the fucking most god-awful shit that he would throw at people. And I really felt bad for the fucking people in the audience because he'd go out there and just start flinging that shit all over the place, having a fucking fantastic time. It reminded me of like in Billy Madison, like there's that point where they're having the graduation parties between grades. And Billy's friend is just fucking spraying the water hose on that kid in the fucking lawn. He's like, who are you? I don't even know who you are. Larry coming out there, just fucking going ham hock with a fucking egg salad in people's faces that are fucking high already and drunk. And now they got to have fucking egg yolk and shit in their fucking hipster jeans that they have to watch. Like, I had to stop myself from corpsing a couple times during stuff like that. So it was definitely an inward laugh on stuff like that.
What's the worst gimmick you've seen?
Anything, and this is a lot of, because creativity is so important to me, anything that is kind of a knockoff or adjacent to an existing thing kind of irks me the wrong way. And it's not like where I'm like, oh, this is the fucking worst shit ever. I'm just kind of like, do better. Like, you can be better than this. You're drifting on someone's coattails that it's not necessary. Like, why try to be the next Stone Cold where you can be the first you and try and do something creatively to further yourself? Like, and I understand it's my perspective because the creativity is important to me. But yeah, like seeing stuff like that, I know this will get me heat, but like any type of fucking Bullet Club merch ripoff really fucking rubs me the wrong way. Because again, it's that similar thing where it's like, do you? Yeah. Like, you can do things that are referential, that's fine, but that's something that is very much, people know what you're taking from that. It's not doing a Hoodslam thing in a Nintendo font. Like, that's someone's creative juices that you're taking. It's not some corporation. So it's like with Hoodslam, when I wanted to do a shirt and I was making the design for the shirt that I wanted for P.O.N.G, I'm passing around to, people like AJ and getting their opinion. They're like, it needs to look like something. It needs to be referential to something else. Like, make it look like, some type of other video game thing. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want the P.O.N.G shirt to be a P.O.N.G shirt. Yeah, it has the, a starburst on it, like it's the Nintendo seal of approval, but it doesn't look like the seal of approval itself. There's different things that are referential on there.
Yeah.
The font for P.O.N.G is the same font as P.A.N.G, the video game. So it's like there's weird references there, and I feel that I don't know. I don't want to be overly like hitting people over the head with unoriginality.
Yeah,
I guess.
A couple points on some of the stuff you said. One, if you're still ripping off Bullet Club stuff at this point, it's kind of like you're like 5 years too late, or even longer. Like, you need to calm it down now.
Yeah. But please.
Yeah, but okay. So I'm a big movie nerd, movie and TV show nerd. I love, like, and I know what you're talking about. Like, in that, references have taken over. Like, it's the Stranger Things of it all, where they're kind of like, look, they're dressed like Ghostbusters.
Hey, this is the 80s.
Yeah.
Remember this thing? That the whole member berry.
Meanwhile, I'm watching it and I'm like, there's no way any of these people would have like an Evil Dead poster. What, are you insane? But where would you even get it at that time?
Get into the 90s and they'll be all over the place.
Yeah. But where would you even get that in the 80s? Where would you buy that? It's not. Anyway. Point being, that's why one of my favorite movies is Turbo Kid. So Turbo Kid, I don't know if you've ever seen it. Hold on, you frozen.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Yes, I have.
Back. So Turbo Kid is a perfect pastiche of 80s style without actually having anything from the 80s in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a similar thing to like it's not Kung Fu. It was the thing where this is going to bother me really bad. I'm having a brain fart on this, where they kill Hitler.
Oh,
it's like a 30-minute short movie.
Kung Fury.
Kung Fury. There we go. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Like Kung Fury, the same thing. It's like, it's so, you smell the fucking Betamax on it, but it's not of that area. Turbo Kid was really fun. There's a lot of the similar, I think, Kung Fury like leaned much more into the campiness part of it, and Turbo Kid was much more of like reverent to like the feeling of an 80s movie without
had some heart in it.
Yeah, like it was. I really enjoyed Turbo Kid. I should catch that one again. Watch that.
Once again, don't have to say any names. Any people, former WWF, WCW, ECW guys, or just big names, quote unquote, indie guys that have been on the same card as you, not necessarily worked in a match with you, that just rubbed you the wrong way. They gave you a bad vibe. They thought they were bigger in the show, acted like it, that kind of thing.
I mean, Seth has been discussed ad nauseum, so let's forget that. I don't think I don't hold it against him, but I worked a pro wrestling Bushido show that Colt Cabana worked. And for that show, for whatever reason, I had recently come back to wrestling. This is probably 2000. It was 2011, 2012 area. And I was just trying to do something nice, trying to do something different to not make everyone think I'm an asshole when I'm there because of how quiet I am. So I brought a fruit tray with me, right? I went to the supermarket and got just like the fucking cold fruit tray. So I went around the locker room and offered people fruit from the fruit tray. Hey, do you want anything on this? And I went over to Colt and he's like, the fuck are you doing? Like, do you want like pineapple, like fruits or something? He's like, why the fuck would I want that? And I'm like, I don't know, sir. I'm sorry. Like, okay, I'll move on, I guess. Thank you. Very appreciate you. Love the podcast. Bye.
Yeah. I don't know. Cause we're human beings.
That might have just been a weird, again, because of like my Asperger's, but maybe it was done in a joking way. And I just completely missed the social cue of it. Like I just wasn't picking up what he was putting down, but that was awkward. Everyone else was fine, really. I put a point on it to mention Brian Kendrick as being one of the good ones.
Okay.
Because he was always super cool, super unpretentious, and just there to help when he was at Hoodslam, and gave me a compliment on one of my matches there, which I was over the moon about. Nice.
Yeah, seems like a good dude. I only met him like at King of Indies, 2 decades ago. So it's been a while.
Spanky.
Yeah.
Spanky Brian Kendrick.
Where he would just like wear I don't know, Zubaz pants. What did he used to wear?
It was a Zubaz and he had that fucking hat, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So straight. Oh man. Okay. The final question, I call it the touchy-feely question of the podcast. Your pure joy in wrestling, the thing that gives you the goosebumps either before, during, or after a match, and when you get it, you get the goosebumps, and you're like, I fucking love this business. This is why I love wrestling.
Aside from getting a good laugh during a match, because for P.O.N.G, that was a big thing, is finding the places to put the punchline in there. I really do love the feeling of a really well done false finish. Like that getting that anticipation and that reaction of, oh, we really did think this was over, and that kick out was so good that it's a guttural, just a primal reaction from the audience that's not staged or they think they have to yell or say. Like, I love that. And I also like hasn't happened too much with me, but when you get the really big ovations after like a blow off feud pin, right? Like, when you have something like Ricky Steamboat and Macho Man, that fucking pop from the blow off, when you're finishing an angle and that final pin where the baby face has overcome and fucking beat the heel, like that release of the fans is fantastic, because that's a fucking punchline to a payoff that's been building up for a year. And it's euphoric to me when I've only experienced it, once or twice personally, but when I see it on a wrestling show, I'm like, man, that's the fucking business right there. That's it.
Perfect. Well, brother, I appreciate you being on the show. I'm so happy you were able to come on here for me. But first, put yourself over, put Hoodslam over, do all the stuff.
Yeah. Whenever Hoodslam comes back, go see it live. But in the interim, you can watch all the Stoner U streaming content, hit up their Twitch and shit. Stuff is still going on. I technically am on Twitter at P.O.N.G FTF, but I'm not that outgoing of a person. So if you want to reach out or message me, go ahead. But I'm technically there, but I just lurk and read stuff. But yeah, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate you taking the time.